Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to Mohawk Motors. My name is Jason. So today we're getting into part 2 on the flood victim truck. I've done a little work on it since the last video. I'll catch you up to speed on that, and then I'll bring you up to speed on what we're doing in this video. So let's get to it. So where I left off on the last video, I had gotten it together, test driven it, brought it back. It needed a rear main seal. Got the rear main seal put in it. And then I was doing some final checks to make sure that this thing was ready to go to advanced inspection. In Pennsylvania, any vehicle with a salvage title or a salvage certificate, before you can get a reconstructed title, you need to take it through what Pennsylvania calls advanced inspection. Now, from what I'm reading online and everything I've seen about it, what I can gather, advanced inspection is pretty much the same thing as their annual safety inspections, except more in depth. They do a more thorough check on the brake system, a more thorough inspection of the parking brake system. They're gonna be underneath with a fine-tooth comb, looking for problems with this thing, checking body mounts, suspension mounts, all that stuff to make sure that this vehicle is put back together in as good as or better condition than it was from the factory. So if it is ever in another accident, the occupants are not going to get hurt. Since this truck was on the road and I've been under it and checked everything out, I don't think there's any other issues outside of the mechanical issues that we've already repaired. But there were some other small things. After testing the parking brake, one of the parking brake cables broke. So I did have to replace the driver's rear parking brake cable and get the parking brake shoes adjusted so the parking brake is working correctly. I did that since the last video. That's all up to speed now. I also went through, I did some more cleaning. I did a bit more research on these rear tail lights. These are not the factory tail lights. They do illuminate in red as specified in the inspection guide. So we're gonna have to see about that. Now, I need to get a replacement steering wheel. I mentioned this before. The leather wrap is peeling on this steering wheel. I don't think that'll pass inspection. To me, that's a hazard of your finger getting stuck, or let's say you're driving with your hand on that part of the steering wheel and you hit a pothole and it jerks the wheel. That could break your finger. So we're gonna have to get a better wheel on it because I don't think that's worth the gamble. And I can probably pick one up at the junkyard for a few bucks. So I gotta get to the junkyard and get that replaced. But today we're gonna do two things that may or may not fail it on inspection, but I think they're gonna help it in resale. First, I've got a new serpentine belt tensioner, a new serpentine belt idler pulley, and a new serpentine belt. The one on this truck squeaks when it's cold. If I'm trying to sell this thing and make some money on it, you can't have a squeaky serpentine belt. That's not good for anybody, right? And then I've got these right here. Now, if you've never seen these before, these are Bushwhacker rocker panel protectors. Their intended targeted purpose is you stick them on your rocker panels. They just go on with double-sided adhesive, and they protect them from stone chips, things like that. Now, Pennsylvania's inspection rules state you can have no clear pathway for exhaust gases to pass from outside the vehicle into the cabin. And fortunately for me, this truck would pass inspection as is. It's only the outer cab corner and the outer rocker panel that are rusty. This cab corner is pretty bad. This rocker's, it's going, but it's not broken through yet. The rocker on the other side, you can see the outer rocker's got a couple little holes in it here. But the inner rockers are solid and the floor panels are solid. So this technically would still pass inspection, but it's ugly. Now my options for this, I could put new rockers on it If I put new rockers on it, then really I should paint it. And I'm not trying to get into paint. I don't want to spend that much time and effort on this truck. But what I can do is get these rocker guards / covers put on the truck. They will look a lot better. They will cover up that rust and probably slow it down a little bit. And I mean, they match the Bushwhacker bed liner or bed rail covers. So we're really just completing the set. I wouldn't put these on a truck that had nice rockers. I fear that they would trap moisture and dirt between them and the rocker panel and screw it up. They would cause more rust, more paint damage, etc. But on a truck that the rockers are already not very good, I think this is a good, I'm not going to call it a repair, but a short-term solution. So I think first thing I'm going to do is get the serpentine belt put on. I'm not going to show you that. It's remove and replace. It's very simple. And then I'm going to show you getting these rocker covers put on. So I'll bring you guys back in a little bit. All right, folks, it's a little bit later. We got the serpentine belt, idler, tensioner put on, took care of the squeak just like I thought, so that's all good to go. So now I want to do these rocker protectors. So it's 2 pieces on each side for an extended cab. The rear piece here, you can see, wraps up a little bit and behind a little bit, which is nice because if you were to be in reverse and throwing rocks, it would protect the back of your cab corner. But in our case, it's going to cover the little bit of cab corner rust and make the truck look a little bit nicer. So like I said, if you have a truck with really nice rockers, I would not put these on. I think it's going to trap dirt and debris, moisture between them and your truck, which is going to cause your paint to chafe and rub and then eventually start to rust. So if you already have nice rockers, I probably would not recommend these. But in this circumstance, what I'm doing, this is a good, I'm not going to say repair, but a good way to dress it up and make it look a little bit better and get you a little bit more life before you need to do a proper repair, which is, you know, cut the rust out, weld new metal in, get it primed, painted, taken care of. So first step here is get everything clean. It sticks on with double-sided tape, and this stuff, I've used it before. This stuff is super sticky. So I'm gonna get everything as clean as I can where the tape is gonna be. I'm just gonna use a rag and some lacquer thinner, get everything as clean as possible, and then we'll get it lined up and start getting it stuck on there. Okay, so I've got it all clean. Now, I'm starting with the back panel just because I want to make sure my fit up against the back of the cab is really good. And from there, I'll worry about getting the bottom fitted up. But I want to make sure it fits up good against the back of the cab. And see, this is the tricky part with this stuff, because like I said, this double-sided foam tape, it's super duper sticky. And usually once you stick it, it isn't coming back off. So I'm going to do one more little test fit here. Just like so. That's pretty good. And should I mark this with like a pencil? Can I get this back up? Yeah. All right. So I'm going to do that. And then a trick I found that works pretty well with this stuff is peel off a little tag end that you can reach, and then sit it in place and pull out the rest of your backing as I struggle to even get it started. So I'm going to get all these pieces that I won't be able to easily reach. Get a little tag end poked out for myself. Maybe, hopefully. There we go. So there's a little tag end that I can get a hold of. There's one. There. Okay, so I got a little tag sticking out on each sticky. Oh, wait, nope. Yep. All right, I got a little tag sticking out on each sticky so I can peel the backing out. On this very back piece, I'm just going to peel it off altogether. That was my plan. There we go. So now, we'll see here. Oh! Stick up little end. Alright, that one I'm not going to be able to reach, so that one's got to come off too. There. Actually, I think we're going to have to peel all of these. One under here. There we go. And on the bottom. There we go. That's it. She's stuck on there. Like I said, guys, this stuff is that 3M double-sided tape. Its job is to stick, and it does it. Okay, there we go. There's the rear one. Now we'll do the front one the same way, and then the other side the same way. Well, they're on. You can see it actually, especially with this color of the truck, they really kind of blend in. As you get closer, you can see we got a pretty good coverage. Covered up about 90% of the rust in that cab corner. But all along the bottom here, nice fit. Doesn't interfere with the doors at all. Gives a little extra protection. I notice on these trucks too, the paint right here on this edge gets worn off. So it helps protect that area as well, which is nice. And honestly, pretty easy to install. So I'm gonna do the other side. And then this truck's, I mean, it's as done as it's gonna get until I take it to inspection. I can't think of anything else that I should or need to do to this thing except for get that steering wheel. So I think it's gonna be time to make an appointment and try to get this thing through the advanced inspection. I'll show you once I get the other side put on just for giggles. Got the passenger side on also. Again, like, it actually blends really well with this color. What you can see here, all in place, nice and neat. Doesn't interfere with the doors. I'm really happy with those. And they're like, I think they were about $200 for, you know, the whole setup, which I think is very fair. It complements our Bushwhacker bed rail covers. So I'm really happy with those. It makes the truck look a lot better. Covers up some of that rust that it's not quite to the point worth repairing yet, but it's at the point you don't want to look at it. And yeah, I'm happy with those. I'm gonna move the truck over to this bay. It is pouring down rain outside today. I want to try to give those at least like until tomorrow for them to stick real well without being interfered with by the rain. And I need to get the red truck up on this lift. So I think that's it for now. I'll pick you guys back up on this truck after probably when I go to the junkyard to get a steering wheel for it. So I'll see you then. Well, everybody, it's a few days later. I'm out in the workshop. I've got my little helper with me. Right, bud? And today we are learning. So I made a bunch of phone calls yesterday trying to find a place that would do an enhanced safety inspection on the gray truck to get it from salvage title back to a reconstructed title. You need to have an enhanced safety inspection done. And I called 5 places. None of them would do it on a pickup. They said they only do cars. The 6th place I called, he was cool, very helpful actually. I had some questions and he answered all my questions and said, you know, bring the truck and he can do the inspection for me. When I got there today, I met the gentleman I talked to on the phone, and he asked me a few questions about the truck. I took it out, had it there with me on the trailer, took it out, showed it to him, and we have a problem. So these plastic rocker covers that I put on, the Bushwhacker rocker covers, he said they need to come off in order for him to inspect the truck. And the reason that they need to come off is because he needs to be sure that he needs to have photographic evidence that there is no problematic rust on the vehicle. He went on to tell me more. To try to keep this brief, Pennsylvania is really cracking down on vehicles going through enhanced inspection that still have rust on them. He said as a CYA for himself, he doesn't want to lose his license, and just to make sure he can't possibly have any problems in the future, he says in order for him to pass it on an enhanced safety inspection, I need to repair any rust. And as you remember, we had some rust in the rocker on one side and in the cab corner on the other side. So, like I said, he was super helpful, really cool guy. And I'm trying to build relationships with people because this is what I do. I work on vehicles. I plan on having more vehicles that I'm trying to get reconstructed titles for. It helps in any business to build good relationships with the people you're going to be working with. So to not waste his time and not waste my time, I told him, let me bring it back home with me. I'll get the rust repaired. I'll leave the plastic covers off and I'll bring it back for you to do the inspection. He's got to be able to take a bunch of pictures and show that there's no problems anywhere. There's no rust. There's no nothing, blah, blah, blah. So when I submit all that paperwork with his license number on it to the state to get the reconstructed title, there's no questions, there's no doubts, there's no chance that in the future anything could come back on him or me. So that brings me to where we are. I can't remember which side had rusty rocker and which side had rusty cab corner. And they're going to have to come off anyway, so I'm going to take my Bushwhacker fender protector covers, rocker protector covers back off, which isn't going to be super enjoyable because that double-sided tape really sticks. So I'm going to get those back off. I'm going to take a good hard look. I'm probably going to get under with my chipping hammer and make sure that I have good metal, find the good metal so I can order replacement panels accordingly. And this truck is going to be my first adventure into rust repair. So let me try to get one side off. I'll bring you back, tell you how I did it. Maybe it'll help you. And then you won't hear from me again until I get the right pieces replaced and we start fixing the rust on this truck. All right, everybody. Well, it's been a while. I think it's been like 2 weeks. And I can finally procrastinate no longer. I got to get this done. So I'm working on the gray truck. I'm going to try to get this rocker replaced. I've got my replacement section here. Now I'm lucky that all of my rust is below this body line right here. So what I think I'm going to try to do is wind up making my cut right here on this flat part where I should be able to conceal it pretty easily. And I'm going to get all the spot welds ground off, drilled out, etc., so I can cut out my piece. Guys, I'm not going to give you a ton of detail or try to make a how-to on this because I am winging it. I've watched a bunch of videos and read a bit in forums, and I have an idea of what I need to do. So I'm going for it. I'm just going to try to make it look as best I can, and I'll bring you back when it's done. Well, everybody, it's late. It's 11:40. I got to go in and get to bed, but made good progress. So I've got my new rocker in over here on the passenger side. I've done a bunch of tacks. It's not fully welded yet. I'll finish it up tomorrow when I come out. I don't want to, I worked really hard. Worked really hard to get a really nice fit up. Mine's all lining up, everything looking good. So I don't want to spoil it now and get too much heat into it and cause it to oil can or something else. So I'm really happy with how this is turning out. This side's gonna look really good. If I can do the same thing on the other side and on the cab corner, it'll just be down to getting some paint on it and making it look good. I did spray weld through primer all up on the back side of the new panel, as well as everywhere I could reach inside the rocker after I got everything cleaned out. So hopefully there won't be that new piece will last a long time. Whoever buys this truck won't have to worry about it. So where I left off, I was getting the rocker replaced on the passenger side of the truck here. And I've got it to a point that I'm satisfied. Now I am 100% sure there are people who can do this better than me. Honestly, I'd bet almost anybody can do this better than me if they have any type of experience doing body work. But this is my first time ever replacing sheet metal and trying to make it look like it was there the whole time, not look like replacement. And I'm really happy with it. I'm very proud of myself. I did not want to do this. But it's the only way this truck is going to work out for me and I'm going to be profitable on it, is to do the sheet metal repairs myself. And it's the only way really that I'm going to be able to sell it, because enhanced inspection, they said there can't be any rust on the truck. So I'm really happy with this section here. I've replaced pretty much from right back here all the way to right about here. And I think I've done a good enough job. We'll see once I look on the computer, but you may not even be able to see my joints in the camera. And I definitely don't think you'll be able to see them once I get it painted. So I'm satisfied with this side. Now I've got to get started on the other side. This side, we don't need to do as much of the rocker, really only from about right here back to the joint, but we've got to do some of the cab corner. And the real buzzkill about this, it's going to make it take longer, is the only way I think we're going to be able to do it well is to pull the bed. So I'm probably gonna get the bed pulled off of this thing and then get started on it. All right, guys, it's just before midnight and I'm finished over here on the driver's side. This side only needed about a 14-inch section of rocker and a little patch here in the cab corner. So I got that done. Now, I rushed on this side, which I knew I shouldn't do. I knew it was gonna make my life more difficult. And it did. I rushed and my fit up wasn't as good. So it was much more challenging to get it welded in. But I just had to step back, slow myself down, take my time, and I think it turned out pretty good. So tomorrow I'll get both sides wiped down with acetone. I'll get them primed. And then I'm pretty sure what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna mask a line parallel with the floor right around the back here. I'll do the same on the other side. I'll scuff it, and then I'm just gonna paint it gloss black. I think that'll look good on the truck, and it'll save me from having to go get like a spray can of custom mixed paint to try to match the color of the truck. Because I mean, quite frankly, that's expensive. And even though it's a nice truck, it's not nice enough, in my opinion, to merit getting custom mixed paint. Not to mention this is a color, it's got metal flake in it. I believe it's the original GM color. So it's got, what, 22 years of sun on it. So it would be a really difficult color to match anyway. So I think the black will look good. It'll be inconspicuous, and it'll still be a really nice truck. So I'll probably bring you guys back tomorrow once I have that done. Guys, I didn't even make it into the house. I was still cleaning up, and I can't put black paint on this thing. The truck's nice enough. I've put all this effort into it and making it look good. I can probably get a can of paint that is color matched close enough that you won't really be able to tell for not super expensive. So I'm just gonna have to wait till Monday when the paint store is open. Closest one to me is about a half hour away. I'm just gonna have to wait until Monday when they're open, and I'll go take a piece. I've got a piece here that I cut off. I'll take this piece with me and see if they can't get me something. See if they can't mix me up something that matches pretty close. Hopefully they can do it while I wait and I don't have to make 2 trips out there. But I put too much work into this truck to take a shortcut now. I gotta do it right, and that means just getting, I'm sure they can do like a rattle can of color match paint. And it's so low, hopefully you'll never notice it. So yeah, I've come too far to take a shortcut now. Well, it's a couple days later, everybody, and she's all finished up. We've got the passenger side here. I was able to get some paint that, I mean, whew, it's not the factory paint, but dang, you really can't tell it's not. My lines look good. Very happy with that. I'm sorry if this is boring for you, but this is exciting for me. It's the first time I've ever done body work and tried to make it look halfway decent. Driver's side, cab corner. I mean, again, it's not a show truck, but whew, I think it turned out really well. So I'm gonna get this thing out of here. I have an appointment tomorrow for it to go through enhanced inspection. I can't think of any reason why it wouldn't go right through enhanced inspection. Everything on this truck is just tip top. So I'll let you guys know when it gets back.